Attempts to outlaw smacking, for example, are not about keeping children safe from harm. A smacking ban simply makes it easier to further invade the home, arrest parents, and disrupt family. For their own purposes, the NSPCC is determined to write into law the ludicrous assumption that parents are not able to distinguish between chastisement and physical abuse.
We believe that there's a groundswell of support in Parliament for a complete ban on physical punishment, which means that there'd be a completely clear message to professionals and to parents especially, hitting a child was never okay.
Opponents of an outright ban claimed it would restrict a parent's power to reprimand children who, for instance, run into the road.
Could you just explain what the other option is about the child who runs into the road without giving it a smack if it does it too often?
Grab the child. You pull the child back. You say to the child, you don't do that. There are many ways, I can assure you. There are many ways. And I assure you also that it's a nonsense to put it up as an example, because if you did, in those circumstances, smack your child, do you seriously think that a police officer is going to take you to court to use that? No, no.
But this is exactly what would happen. In fact, it already is happening.
A father of two revealed today how he was separated from his family after being spotted by a policeman giving his 3-year-old son a single but hard smack on the bottom.
That father was kept away from his child and out of his own house for 6 months. This is the kind of society, so desperately craved by the NSPCC and others, that needs a definition of abuse to grow so that they can grow in power.
Well, the abuse industry maintains itself by categorising normal behaviours as acts of abuse. So, for example, whereas 30 years ago, the NSPCC was concerned with the killing and severe beating of children, it's now concerned with smacking children, shouting at children. It has even tried to suggest that 5-year-old boys who have an interest in 5-year-old girls are paedophiles. It's actually used those words. They're not my words, they're the NSPCC's words. You're a psychologist. Harlow's monkeys. Monkeys that are brought up without touch and affection grow up delinquently. They can't bring up their own children. They often kill their own children. There clearly is there are important reasons why human beings, adults and children, need to be touched. And we know that it affects us. We know how powerful is touch as adults. It makes a world of difference. The children have got to be denied this to a very large extent in their lifestyles from those who are important adults around them.
Do you think that there is stigma attached to any man who wants to work with children or expresses an interest in children?
Yes. There's a voluntary initiative where I work whereby you can go and help children to read part of their reading hour in the local primary school. These are children from about the ages of 4 up to the ages of, say, 9. So I was the only male volunteer at this primary school. And I went there and I'm working with kids about the age of 7 to 9. I did notice I was actually put in at the highest age range and not the lowest, which was interesting. You weren't allowed to be in a class alone with any children. You always had to have the door open. The teacher should be present any time you're with the child. You couldn't make even affectionate gestures to the child. If you tried to sit in your lap, you could move them and put them away. I did feel, going in, I felt really weary that I was the only guy. And having seen the other people who are working there, they can be very affectionate with the children. And I'm very aware of what I'm doing when I kind of almost without thinking say, kind of, lean or grab a child's hand to pull him over. I'm aware that it's dodgy, that I have to pull away. Men are generally not wanted in a primary school level.
The point is you can talk to a 5-year-old all day about how to hold his foot to do something. Yeah. Or you can just grab the foot and do that, and he's learned it from then on. And I just do that now. Yes. And before I wouldn't. Yeah. I resented the fact that I felt I couldn't do it. Yeah.
If you're a woman, you've had no problem.
Precisely. It's outrageous. So I do it now, and no one's, I dare anyone to say I'm doing anything wrong.
Well, I think what you're doing there is what you've described there, on the face of it, seems extremely trivial. But in reality has a big impact, not only for the way in which you teach and the effectiveness of your teaching, but with regard to how the child feels about you. Because a woman can do that, and so from the child's point, oh yes, women are warm and cuddly, but he doesn't. He's cold, he's distant, he's nasty. And that's how he grows up to see you. And you have to behave in this way. Why? Because of the feminists and because of the hysterics in the child abuse industry. These people have, in my view, caused enormous damage. Sorry. These people, in my view, have caused enormous damage. And I have said on my website, I'll say it again, I'm sure you won't put this out, but I think the National Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Children has done more harm to our children than all the paedophiles in this country put together. I believe it. I think I can justify it. I think I can prove it to the extent that anything can be proved. And I really am very angry that we have this parasitic organisation in our midst, taking our money, by and large, to demonise men and fathers in the eyes of everybody. Perhaps you don't remember those adverts they were showing maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
No, I probably wasn't tuned.
Well, basically demonising men, casting suspicion on men's relationships with children. They were also at the forefront of the recovered memory, satanic abuse ritual, hysteria. And this organisation has the support of millions of people in this country, and I'd like to see them exposed.
It's what of everyone, it seems. It's a very well-regarded organisation,
yes.
Isn't it?
It's not well regarded by a lot of people who work with children, I'll just say. Social workers are not very keen on the NSPCC because they see it as interference from a bunch of people who do not have as much expertise in dealing with children, but plenty of expertise in raising money, which is what the organisation seems to be about.
It's not possible for the government to keep children safe, and neither is it possible for charities to keep children safe. The only institution that can keep children safe is the one that has a biological investment in the child, the family. Child abuse can only be reduced by keeping the father and mother together. It's that simple. There is no other solution. The presence of the real father is the key to child safety. We don't need more government power. We need government support of family. We don't need parasitic entities like the NSPCC, the Child Support Agency, or Children's Commissioners. What we do need is simply what nature intended: dad, mum, and child.